18, 20 months ago, I had 2,000 LinkedIn followers. I posted here and there, and if I did post, I got 15 likes per post. I had zero strategy, and of course, made $0 from the platform. Now, today I have over 50,000 followers. We've generated almost $1.2 million directly from the platform, and we have a wait list of thousands of people that are ready for the 20 spots in my next cohort. Now, here's what's wild. I didn't go viral to get here. I didn't hack the algorithm. I didn't buy followers. I didn't run ads. I just showed up consistently and made strategic decisions at key moments. Now, over the next few minutes, I'm about to walk you through my entire journey. The good decisions, the terrible mistakes, the turning points, all of it. Because if I can go from 2,000 followers and $0 in revenue to where I'm at today in 18 months, you can too. So I know some of y'all are still thinking, why would I share everything? Because my friend, I rest in a place of knowing there's enough out there for us to all win. And so me sharing my wins, my failures does not impact me at all. It doesn't stop my wins or my future failures, but I hope it helps you in the direction that you're going. So with that, let's jump into it. Now, in April of 2021, I had just left Stripe, my last corporate job, and I was starting my agency. And I knew with that, I needed to start building a personal brand. But here's the thing, I had no idea what to do or where to go with it. So I actually started on TikTok, and TikTok was my fastest growth platform. But in 2024, I decided to start sharing more on LinkedIn. At the time, my LinkedIn just looked very basic and looked like a random resume. My posts were sporadic at best. I'd post something here and there about different things I was doing or different wins we were having in the agency. I might share an article about the creator economy or Facebook ads. I might throw up a happy to announce here and there. The engagement was crickets, and I was actually thought the platform was a bit cringy, right? And I remember thinking to myself, is this a platform that I even want to try to create on? It feels very boring. It feels very dull. Like I said, it feels very cringy. And of course, this is somebody coming over from TikTok, which is very exciting. Now, the first mistake that I made is I was posting whatever I thought I should post, not what I actually always believed. I was trying to sound smart, sound buttoned up, professional, polished, and it was just like the other content on LinkedIn at the time, boring as hell. I was copying what I saw other LinkedIn experts doing, motivational quotes with stock photos, or 5 tips for productivity lists, or generic business advice. It was safe, it was vanilla, and it was exactly the opposite of what I was doing over on TikTok and having fun with. Now, here's the problem with that. When you're trying to sound like everyone else, you sound like no one. So my first breakthrough happened about 2 months in. I posted something different. I shared my actual revenue numbers, how much my agency was making, what was working, what wasn't. It was vulnerable, it was specific, it was real, it was similar to the content I was doing on TikTok. And that post, 4,800 impressions, 87 likes, 23 comments. For me at the time, that was huge. And more importantly, 3 people DM'd me, real conversations, and one of those people became a client. And that's when I realized people don't want polish, just like they don't want it on TikTok. They want real. These are real humans, even on LinkedIn, and they want real content. So months 1 through 3, the numbers started with about 2,000 followers and ended around 2,800 followers. I was posting 2 to 3 times a week at the time. The average engagement was around 15 to 30 likes per post. The revenue generated from the platform was 0, but I started to plant seeds. Now the lesson here is your first 90 days aren't about growth, they're about finding your voice, which is exactly the process I went through. Now, months 4 through 6, this is when I started to have these breakthrough moments. And after that breakthrough post with my revenue numbers, I made a decision that I was gonna stop trying to just sound impressive and start being authentic and start leaning into what I saw working again on other platforms, the types of content that I even like consuming. Now, here's what that looks like. Before, I used to say something like, leadership requires emotional intelligence and strategic thinking, and here's 5 ways to develop both. After, I'd be like, y'all, I messed up a client call yesterday. I got defensive when they questioned my strategy. It took me 2 hours to realize I was wrong. Here's what I learned from that. Do you see the difference? The first one sounds like a LinkedIn expert. The other one sounds like a freaking human. Now, here's the shift, the strategic shift. I also got clear on who I was talking to. I stopped trying to serve everyone, and I narrowed my focus. My ICP, my ideal client profile, which are executives, founders, entrepreneurs who have expertise but 0 online presence. It's people people who are successful offline but invisible online. And once I got clear on this, my content changed. Every post was written for that person. I shared what I was learning building my own agency. I was transparent about wins and losses. I gave away actual strategy, not surface level tips. I also started testing different content types. Type 1 is the personal stories, the behind the scenes of building the agency. Type 2 is the framework systems that I was using for myself, my own brand, and our clients. Type 3, these contrarian takes, challenging common beliefs. And type 4, these data-driven insights, what I was seeing across clients. Now, here's what I discovered. The frameworks and the contrarian takes generally got the best engagement from my ICP. People who just wanted motivation scrolled past. The people who actually wanted to build something, they commented, DM'd, they wanted more. Now, my first viral post, my big post, happened around almost a year after I strategically started posting. And I posted about Serena Williams performing at the Super Bowl as part of the Kendrick Lamar performance. Now, the post was about authenticity in professional settings, how the same behavior is celebrated in one context and criticized in another. That post got 8 million impressions. It gained like 3,000 followers in an hour. And here's what I learned. Viral posts are amazing for reach, which we do have to learn how to get the reach, but they do not always convert to revenue. That viral post got me followers, the most amount of followers I've ever received, but the framework post got me the clients. So I started learning how to mix these things up. Now again, month 4 through about 6, 7, 8 was around 2,800 followers to 8,000 followers. I was posting 4 to 6 times a week. I was getting around 100 to 300 likes per post. My revenue generated was around $25,000. We started to get some agency clients from this. Now, the lesson is authenticity over polished, frameworks over motivation, and consistency over virality. Now, if you want all of the exact frameworks I use, the content strategy, the positioning work, all of it, I put together my entire complete brand guide that you can download for free. The link is somewhere around here. And again, why would I do this? Because I believe there's enough out there for us to all win. And selfishly, if I can help more people, more folks with expertise get the mic and get famous, I believe this world will be a better place for it. So selfishly, that's my MO. Let's move on to the next few months. And this realization I had around month 7, month 8 was that I had momentum. I was posting consistently, I was getting decent engagement, I started to land some clients, but I also started to burn out. I'd spend 3 to 4 hours every morning writing a single post. I was constantly overthinking. I remember I'd be on vacation, writing posts, leaving the beach, going to write. And I realized if I wanted to do this for the long haul, I needed some systems that worked for me. So number 1 is I started to keep a running doc, which is really just a notes in my iPhone of client conversations that sparked ideas, my own struggles and learnings, questions that people ask me repeatedly, frameworks that I'm using in our agency. Every time something interesting happened or something came up in a client meeting, I'd take out my notes and jot it down. Now, instead of looking at a blank page and thinking, what should I post today? I always had an idea bank of 50 ideas ready to go. System number 2 is I had a nice content mix. I developed what we now like to call the 60-20-20 rule. Now, transparently, I do adjust this depending on the seasons that we're in. Around 60% authority content, which is the frameworks, the systems, the case studies, 20% connection content, which is the personal stories, behind the scenes stuff, and 20% relationship content, which is the questions and the engagement posts, the community building. Now, what I do find, a disclaimer, is that folks are generally pretty bad at the 20% buckets, the relationship and the connection content. And so even in Brick by Brick, we focus a lot there because my ICP and who I deal with are folks that probably generally are pretty good with the authority content. They know their stuff, they know how to get it out there, but they're really struggling with packaging and that reach content. But again, understanding this mix for me gave me credibility with the authority content while still staying relatable with the connection content and building relationships, which is the cheat code to life, with the relationship content. What I see in this game is most people only do one of these, and I started to do all 3. Now, the second viral moment. I posted about why I give away so much value for free. The post was about give, ask philosophy, and how building a massive goodwill first makes monetization easier later. I got 2 million impressions from this, 1,800 followers gained in probably a few hours. But here is the difference. This time, I was ready for the influx. I had a lead magnet, which is a free brand guide. I had an email list that people could join. I stood up a new offer, which was our Brick by Brick cohort. So when people found me through that viral post, I had a funnel to actually capture them. The result was immediately 400 email signups, 50 people joined the waitlist, and that viral post actually converted this time. So by month 12, 14, things started actually really clicking. The agency increased in revenue. We launched our first brick by brick cohort, and we started to build an email list, which now has around 20,000 subscribers. We also started getting inbound leads to our agency consistently. But here's what actually mattered. I had proof. I can now say, which I do on this YouTube channel, I built this business using LinkedIn, and here's exactly how I did it. Months 7 through 12 looked a little bit like 8,000 followers to 22,000 followers, and posting frequently around 4 times a week, but systematically. My average engagement was around 200 to 500 likes per post, and the revenue generated was around $500,000. This was the agency and the cohorts. Now, the lesson here is that systems give you consistency. Consistency builds compound authority, and authority generates revenue. And again, with these timelines and months, I'm giving some estimates here, so just give me some grace. Now, by month, let's say 13 to 15, I wasn't just building my personal brand anymore. I was helping executive CEOs and founders build theirs on LinkedIn. And every client that I worked with gave me new case studies, new frameworks to test, more credibility, more content ideas, and my personal brand and my agency started to feed each other. To be clear, my agency has always been helping brands and founders build their personal brand, but a lot of our focus was actually on short form content. So we actually started to shift our clients and attack LinkedIn because I'm so bullish on it. So my content personally got more sophisticated. It went from here's what I'm learning to here's what I'm doing and here's the results to here's what I've discovered across 50 plus clients. Do you see that shift there, right? I went from student to practitioner to expert for this specific platform. And my content reflected that evolution. I started building relationships with other creators and brands, not transactional relationships, but real ones. I genuinely engage with their content, celebrate their wins, share their work. Do you know what happened? They started to do the same for me. This is there's enough out there for us to all win mentality in action, and it works. My reach expanded because I was part of a community, not just building solo. And now we're at around month 15 to 17. I've now run 2 cohorts of brick by brick. The first cohort, 20 people, sold out just in like 2 days. The second cohort is around 28 people, sold out in around 72 hours. We had 300 people apply for those slots. And here's why the cohort model is, I believe, pretty genius for personal brands. One, I have leverage here, right? I'm teaching 20 people at once, not one-on-one. There's community, so participants get value from each other, and I'm very intentional with curating our community, so it's extreme value. And there's proof. Every cohort creates more case studies. There's positioning. The waitlist creates scarcity and social proof. And it's a real waitlist, and we really close down those spots. And because I've been building my brand specifically on LinkedIn for the past few months, almost 2 years now, I now have the audience to fill it. Now, here's something nobody's going to tell you about building a personal brand. At some point, your reputation just starts doing the work for you, right? At some point, it just goes on easy mode. So now by like month 18, I'm getting speaking invitations without pitching, partnership opportunities without cold outreach, client inquiries without sales calls, podcast interview requests. Why? Because I built compound authority. When my name came up in rooms I wasn't in, people said, oh yeah, she's the LinkedIn person. She's legit. That's the goal, to be known for something specific and be seen as credible. So this last segment was around 22,000 followers to 50,000 followers. I post around 3 to 4 times a week, more strategic and less frequent. My average engagement is around 300 to 800 likes per post. And again, revenue generated is around 700,000 from the agency and the cohorts and different partnerships that I've done. So the total 18 to 20-ish months revenue from LinkedIn is around 1.2 million. And the lesson is build for the long term. Reputation is your moat, my friend, and leverage is your scale. All right, I've shown you what worked. Now let me show you what didn't work, because you can learn from my mistakes probably more than my wins. Mistake number 1 was I waited too long to monetize. I posted for free for 11 months before I created this brick by brick paid offer. And again, this was because our agency is boutique and we only work with a specific type of client. And that was pretty silly of me. I should have launched something probably by like month 6, even if it was small, even if it was imperfect. Why? Because monetization validates your positioning. And it shows that you're building a business, not just a following. Also, when you have things that can help people and folks pay for that, they're usually more likely to take action and you can help more people. So the lesson there is don't wait for everything to be perfect. Launch something and iterate based on feedback. Mistake number 2 was, especially in the beginning, I was chasing vanity metrics. Similarly to the mistakes that I made on TikTok, I was obsessed with follower count. I check it multiple times a day. I get discouraged when growth slowed. But here's the truth, y'all, and I can say this now, follower count does not pay the bills. What matters is how many of your followers are your ICP, how many actually convert to your email subscribers, how many become clients or customers. And the result here, or the lesson that I want you to take away from this, is to track business metrics, not vanity metrics. Mistake number 3. This is a big one, and I'm a marketer, so I knew better, man. Mistake number 3 was not building an email list sooner. I didn't start building an email list from LinkedIn until around month 8. Big mistake. That means there was 8 months of traffic going nowhere. If I'd started building a list from day 1, I'd probably have 20,000 subscribers instead of the 10,000 that we currently have. Now, the cost of this mistake is I lost connection with thousands of people who engaged with my content, but they had no way to stay in touch. The lesson, please, y'all, start building your email list from day 1. LinkedIn can change the algorithm, they can do anything, but they cannot take away your email list. Also, again, I believe in relationships, and it's the number one way to make impact. And the relationship built on email is really, really strong. Now, mistake number 4, I was trying to please everyone. Early on, I get a negative content, I'd be spiraling. Maybe I shouldn't be so direct. Maybe I should tone it down. Maybe I'm too much. And I'd soften my content. I make it more palatable. But you know what? The content performed worse. It always does. The people who love your edge will love you more for it. The people who don't like it, they were never going to be clients anyway. So the lesson here, at least for me, was polarize, differentiate, stand for something. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you know I'm pretty loud and proud about the things that I believe in and stand for. I'll leave it at that. Mistake number 5 was not systematizing sooner. I spent the first 6 months reinventing the wheel every time I posted. If I'd built systems and frameworks earlier, I could have saved hundreds of hours and produced more content consistently and not burnt myself out. So the lesson here is build systems earlier, systems that serve you, and your future self will thank you. Now again, if you want to skip the mistakes I made and fast track your growth, which is what I believe you should do, I believe we should all share our mistakes more so that we can help other people not make those mistakes. I put everything together that I wish I knew earlier in these brand guides below. You will find everything there because, again, there's enough out there for us to all win. And if you're already an action taker, you just want some more accountability, community, you just want to work with me closer, again, we run brick by brick cohorts a few times a year. You'll find that waitlist somewhere around here. But honestly, learning from my mistakes and learning from this video and learning from all this stuff on this YouTube channel is probably one of the most valuable things you can do. I put everything out here strategically, but again, if you want some more help, some more accountability, you can join the waitlist for our brick by brick cohorts. Now, if I could start over knowing what I know now, here's exactly what I do. Month 1, I get crystal clear on my ICP. Who am I serving? I'd write my 2 levels of story. I identify my 3 to 5 contrarian beliefs. I'd set up an email list for infrastructure, and I'd post 4 times a week from day 1, no excuses. Month 2 to 3, all about finding my voice. I'd test different content types, track which posts my ICP engage with, double down on what works, drop what doesn't, and I'd start building relationships with other creators and keep iterating. Month 4 to 6 is where I'm building systems. Y'all, create that content bank. Again, I just use my iPhone. You might need to develop a content calendar. I don't. You might need to batch create. I don't. Do what works for you. But I would build a lead magnet and I would start driving traffic to my email list. Month 7 through 9, it might be some monetization. I might launch my first paid offer, even if it's small, validate the positioning through sales conversations, iterate based on feedback, build case studies, and keep building that email list. Months 10 through 12, it's probably just scaling, right? I'd launch a second offer or iterate on that first one. I'd build strategic partnerships, start exploring group offerings if applicable, and if you have the results to do so. I'd document my systems so that I can now teach them, and I continue consistent posting. The difference is, if I did this from day 1, I'd probably be at 75,000 followers, 2 million plus in revenue, and 20,000 email subscribers. But you know what? I don't regret the journey because every mistake taught me something, and every failure has made me sharper, and every slow month has made me more resilient. And now I get to make YouTube videos about all my mistakes. So there's some wins in some of this. And again, here's what I want you to take away. 1, you don't need to go viral to build a business on LinkedIn. Consistency beats virality every time. Number 2, authenticity is your competitive advantage. Stop trying to sound like everyone else. Number 3, systems give you consistency. Consistency builds authority, and authority generates revenue. And number 4, start monetizing earlier than you think you're ready. Launch something probably by month 6. Again, if I'm talking to you or you're watching this video, you're an expert with knowledge already, so get out there. Number 5, this is a long game, my friend. Brick by brick, decades, not date. Again, 18, 20-ish months ago, I was at 2,000 followers, wondering if this was even worth it, wondering if this platform was even for me. And today I'm at over 50,000 followers with almost $1.2 million generated directly from the platform. Now, the journey isn't over. This is just the beginning. And if I can do it, you absolutely can do it too. So here's what I want you to do right now. Number one, screenshot your current metrics, follower count, engagement, whatever. That is your baseline. Number two, commit to posting 4 times a week for the next 90 days. No excuses. Number three, go download my free brand guide, go consume the YouTube videos, whatever. It has everything in here that I wish I knew when I started. And if you want to do this again with some more accountability, join the Brick by Brick waitlist. We run the cohorts a few times a year. You don't need me to get started. You just need to start. Brick by brick, post by post, week by week. 18 months from now, you'll look back and thank yourself for starting today. And again, my friend, there's enough out there for us to all win. I'll see you in the next one.